Well, it's time to wrap up the PlayStation 1 line of bowling games. We'll start with what I was expecting to be awful, given the last 3 PS2 era realistic bowling games, but no. Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling for the PlayStation 1 is actually decent, with only some technical limitations really holding it back. So let's jump into one of the last 3 bowling games I have to cover the PlayStation 1 still and talk about it. I was happy to see, unlike most bowling games, that I could make my own characters, yet was disappointed in the limited selection of customization options. You only have a few hairs, faces, and outfits. I couldn't really make myself, Muda, Zach, or even Charlie. If I can't bowl with the boys, then what's the point of living?
Oh, hell no!
Also, another limitation to character customization was the inability to play against them with CPUs. Yep, you can only use custom characters if it's player controlled. Why? Why a limit like that? That's dumb. Let's move on to the controls. The controls are really simple and serviceable. Just point down the alley the direction you want, then set the power and accuracy, trying to get the green bar for the best results. Nothing special, nothing awful, and all around good controls. There's not much else to talk about, as that's it for this realistic bowling game when it comes to its mechanics. The first mode is Exhibition, where you bowl 10 frames in front of a crowd and that's it. So basically open play / free play / practice. It's just a simple mode to play if you don't want to compete in tournament mode, though the constant clapping did get annoying. What is this, bowling wheel of fortune? Ugh. Tournament mode lets you customize how it all plays, which is a nice touch. You can avoid the qualification games and just get right to the main event. Change how many people are participating and more. Once in game, you just try to beat everyone and win the trophy. It's fine, but man, did the load time start to sour. It takes between 5 to 12 seconds per loading screen. And much like Starfield, they are constant and it adds up. Most of my playtime ended up being just loading screens once I edited the footage to separate everything. After every frame, after each person's turn, you hit loading screens. It's not fun. Plus the game ended up crashing or freezing or whatever during tournament mode, and it was the only time it happened, so be warned, this game does have some problems. I never understood skins game. It's like money and an elimination or something. I don't know and I don't care, it's boring. And when you have several people to play the game with, whether it's CPU or player controlled, the loading screens become the absolute worst. Now you have roughly 4 or 5 loading screens with 4 people bowling, and it adds up given you have to bowl 10 whole frames in any game mode.
Jesus Christ!
My favorite mode in any bowling game is one that alters the colors to a psychedelic style. The Sims 4 Night Stuff Bowling had that. Simple Series Bowling also had it, and Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling has one as well. This is Cosmic Bowling, and boy howdy is a nice aesthetic change. It's just an exhibition with a different lighting and color palette, but it's still neat looking. Does suck you're still playing in front of several never stop clapping crowd members. Gotta hate the crowd. Fuck off, Wheel of Fortune audience. So let's dive into the other section and talk about the music, technical problems, and I guess that's it. Now the music is good and I wish I could find it out there to use in the review, but couldn't and had to settle with Bowling for the PS1 from the Simple Series 1500 games instead, which isn't a bad thing. I've been using that for other bowling game reviews too. After playing over 10 bowling games, I can say that Simple Series Bowling is still my favorite overall, and I was a bit too harsh on it back in the day after playing a bunch of other bad bowling games. But as for Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling, man, I want to keep saying Pro Circuit Bowling and not Circuit Pro Bowling just because it sounds better. It's got problems with load times and the constant loading screens. Saving itself takes forever. If you try to play a full 10-frame game, it'll add up, especially if there's more than one person, whether it's player or CPU. So be warned, the game will come to a crawl over time and end up making you wish you were at the DMV instead. Enough said.
It sucks, man.
At the end of the day, Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling is a mediocre game, but one I do recommend despite some of its flaws like load times and freezing up. It's nothing special, but it's far from the worst bowling game I've played. In fact, there's one I wouldn't ever recommend, and that's coming up last in a little while, so get ready. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.